Welcome back to NJ Wedding Pro Podcast. My name is Tim, weddingphotonj.com. And today we have a special couple of guests here and co-host
So I'm Chuckie Hype.
And introduce yourself.
Chuckie Hype with Tim Anderson, the Pro Podcast. This is the Hyper Focus edition, bringing the hype and keeping it in focus. But today, as my man Tim said earlier, we have one of the best wedding planners in all the land. It's Caitlynn Pedana. Sounds like banana. Caitlynn Pedana Planning. Are you ready? Let's go.
There we go.
So like they said, I'm Caitlynn Pedana, Planning with Pedana, and I am a wedding planner and coordinator. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Both
Both of you have been on before. We've had awesome conversations. So for anybody listening that is looking for a little bit more, definitely check out those episodes. And today we wanted to share like some valuable stuff for couples that are in the process of, planning their wedding. They're just getting started maybe, or maybe they're like, some months away.
And newly engaged, all of it.
So for all stages, so why don't we start off with your wedding planner? Why don't we start off with the planning part of the day?
Okay.
So what are some things that kind of stand out to you as like these questions, things that couples have for you that come up pretty consistently with people you talk to?
So one of the ones I get a lot when brides and grooms or wedding couples reach out is kind of just like, when do we need to book with you? Mm-hmm. Which is a tricky question, right? Because it can depend on, what you're looking for. If you're looking for someone who's going to be there through the whole process, then book me as soon as you get engaged.
Right.
And I will be your wedding planner. Then I have like a partial wedding package where the brides kind of like want to do their planning, but they need someone there by their side. Still those step of the ways, maybe do a wedding walkthrough, a venue walkthrough, a rehearsal dinner, maybe a couple extra meetings. Mm-hmm. And then there's the brides who are like, nope, I got it. I just want you to make sure that my vision comes to light on the day of the wedding, where that's kind of, you're doing all the planning. We have a 3-month planning meeting and a 1-month planning meeting. Yeah. And we're going through all the details, and then I'm executing it on the day of. So truthfully, it's really up to every wedding couple, depending on what they're looking for. My typical bride books about a year out, which gives us some time to get to know each other too. I've talked to you about we have not been on the podcast together yet, but my big thing with my business is like I truly get to know my bride and grooms, or bride and brides, or groom and grooms, the wedding couple, way before the wedding day. I don't want to meet with you 3 months before your wedding day, 90 days out, and be like, okay, see you at 90 days. And now I'm learning about you and your fiance. I just don't feel like that is how I wanted my business to be run, which is also hard because it is just me and 2 other girls, 2 girls that I trust like wholeheartedly. Like if something were to happen to me, like they'd take over my, my company. So it's really hard, but I really try to keep it at this like intimate wedding planner, wedding couple. I want you to be able to trust me on your wedding day. God forbid anything were to happen. And so,
it's so funny. I usually phrase it that way too, where if couples ask about like, oh, who do you use for second shoot or stuff like that, and I'm like, I work with the same people. I would trust them enough to shoot my own wedding.
Yeah.
And usually if I say that, they're like, okay, they're good. If they're good enough to shoot your wedding, then because you really do, a lot of it falls on you. You're the face of the company. You're the big CEO. But a lot of times, like, it's huge to have people that you can trust and rely on, and know that they're in good hands. If the couple needs something and you can't necessarily respond or be the one to be there all the time.
Yeah. So like some brides will book me. I'll do the planning part with them. And if I have one of the other girls, Liz or Brianna, working on the wedding as their day of, they know from the start when they're signing with me if I'm not going to be their personal day of contact. So Brianna, Liz, whoever will come on to the meetings with us. Mm-hmm. So they're involved in that 3-month and 1-month meeting as well.
So, my question for you was, have you ever had the opportunity to really help someone find a venue for the planning process?
I have not. A lot of the times when a bride and groom get in touch with me or we meet at a vendor show, they'll like get back to me. but typically once they have a date and a venue already.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Kind of like plan a wedding I haven't had someone, I haven't had someone do like a full wedding planning. I feel like we're in that, unless it's somebody who maybe it was their second marriage and they're kind of like, all right, like, can you just plan it type of thing? I feel like a lot of brides nowadays do want to be involved in the planning process, right? Like, I'm a very type A person. I'm a type A mom. So I know that, like, if I were to, like, not get married again, but we want to do a 10-year wedding anniversary, like, I'm planning a renewal. I'm planning that whole thing. Like, no, I'm not even just because I am a planner, because I want to be involved in that. It's such a special moment.
For sure.
So, yeah, I haven't had a bride want to plan it all the way.
I think the generation wants to do it themselves. Yeah. They do. They're capable and they're excited and they've done the homework and the research, and this generation is fantastic.
Social media, right? There's all like Pinterest, there's
so much
TikTok, there's everything that like
it's at the fingertips.
Yeah.
Which is good, but to your point, so maybe they're finding the locations. I feel like it would be very helpful to have somebody with your expertise who's worked at so many different venues, and same thing with the person like Tim or myself, but really with what you can provide is to find that place where we can get to these amazing couples before that process for you, just to let them bounce some ideas off of you and what you know of a place, because I know you have the secrets, you've got the dirt. Now, you don't ever want to kind of like
give like a bad,
but you can give some information as to what some of the benefits are. So I feel like if someone were to reach out to you, you would add complete value to somebody who's like, hey, I'm looking at these 3 places. Caitlynn, talk to me. What do you think?
Agreed. Which you probably can too. Tim may be a little bit different because you're not really like working with the maitre d', or you're not really working with like other people really at the venue. You're kind of like you're on the bride and groom. Like you probably have some insight to stuff, but like
there's some coordination, but
mostly between like if you have a planner or a DJ, right? Because you're coordinating the timeline with the maitre d' to make sure that like, okay, when is dinner being served? You were told one time, I was told one time, they're giving us another time. It's like, okay, where is that middle ground? Like what needs to happen?
Well,
which I recently just had. We went for a venue walkthrough with this bride in November.
Right.
And she was having Russian dancers at her wedding. And it was going to be a dinner show.
Sure.
So we were very, very specific. What time will dinner be served? We need to know because we need to let the Russian dancers know when to come. When I got there and the maitre d' was telling me what time dinner was, it was 45 minutes off from what we were told. So we had to figure that out because we had performers during dinner. She would have had to pay them almost double because they would have been there for a whole hour beforehand just sitting there.
Tell me more about how this resolved itself.
We got it resolved because I told them, well, this isn't an option.
I mean, I
literally was like, I'm so sorry. We came to a walkthrough in November and the upper people told me dinner was going to be served at this time. So we planned everything else out accordingly. And the maitre d' was like,
everything off of that.
Yes,
that
everything. Everything. So the maitre d' was like, no, they don't really know what happens down here on the wedding day. I said, well, what's going to happen down here on the wedding day is dinner needs to be served by, it was supposed to be 9:10. I was like, and he told me 9:45. I was like, dinner's going to be served by 9:15. I think we can keep the Russian dancers off for a couple minutes. And he was kind of like, well, I have to go talk to my manager. I said, okay. And your manager can come talk to me if they need to, because we have performers coming. They're already here, and this is the time we were told 3 months ago in this planning process. So, I'm there as an advocate for the bride. What if that happened? Now the DJ is going to the bride and telling them that the maitre d' is saying, what happens in that situation? What would you do?
First off, and I'll tell you what I have done, but I want to say that this is a prime reason why having you and your team at an event is fantastic. Almost like a travel agent is super important when you're traveling and planning a big trip. I'm not talking about a small trip, but a big trip. I want to talk to the agent to handle the excursions, to this, to that. But for you to be able to be the advocate for the bride and the groom and the bride and bride, the wedding couple, they get a chance to just focus on what they want to do.
Yeah.
And you go do the dirty work.
Yeah.
And yes, obviously a nice thing about what we do, DJ MC people who have a handle on how to do their job. We are not you, but we also have that same kind of mentality. We have an ability to kind of keep the integrity of the timeline, but not the way you do. And so it's fantastic.
So what would you have done, right?
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't there, if this was your wedding and the maitre d' was running through the timeline with you and there was a 45-minute discrepancy, like what would you do? Because you're also not coordinating the dancers. So like, what do you do?
So let me tell you. So I am as an MC, and that's the beautiful thing about having a 2-man team when we do the DJ thing and you have a DJ and an MC.
You have to.
The MC, and in this case, me, if I'm on that party or one of my other MCs, we are acting as your quasi day of coordinator. We get back there. We know what's happening. We're involved in a similar manner with regards to who this person is, because we have to play the music most likely for this dancer and the whole thing. So we know what to expect. And so, yes, we're doing the same kind of thing that we've been trained to do from watching you do it. Okay. And it's real. And so, yes, we are another advocate on the day to help with that. And I would handle it very similar way and kind of politely remind the maitre d' this needs to happen in this form or fashion, then go back to the bride and kind of keep sure they're cool.
Yes,
and make
like
sure
the
they're
bride never
fun.
knew, thankfully, because if she knew,
Love
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Like,
you all behind the scenes.
You have to.
That is how most things should be treated, unless it's something that needs their attention. Their focus should never be like on anything else other than just enjoying themselves. And I do
but a
think
lot of the
that
times
is,
it's not. Not that it's not, but like.
But is that also because they don't have somebody designated there to just focus on all the things that come up? Because there are things that they come up. And I feel like a lot of times, couples might be thinking of a wedding planner as, somebody who's going to help me to pick out a florist or, but there's so much else that you do. And to me, one of the biggest values that you offer is that day of service, really just the whole day coordination, making sure everything runs smoothly, because on as much as you plan and you could do a fantastic job, all on your own, if you don't have somebody there to just kind of like be your advocate, kind of how you're saying, that's where you're going to start to stress yourself out about things that you shouldn't be stressed out about.
Or just things that come up, like you're not there in the morning at the hotel, a bridal box. Like you're there pretty much. I try to get there like a little bit before the photographer so I can we've talked about this before. Tim and I have worked together before. I don't know if you've known that.
Absolutely.
We haven't gotten to work together before. I don't know where your FNA brides are at, but come on, girls. Come on, guys. Where are you at? Because I keep saying I'd love to work with you, but a lot of the times my brides already have their vendors. So I've just been lucky to work with Tim 2 weddings. And so Tim has seen, I try to get there before he gets there so that I can get the brides dressed together, their veil together. I've been doing it long enough where I know you're not going to be shooting it over there in the dark room. You're going to want somewhere where there's light. So I'll start bringing everything out of wherever room it is, the shoes, the rings, getting the ring from the bride while she's getting her hair and makeup done so that he can shoot it, right? All these other little things that Tim will do because he's amazing, but he shouldn't have to get there and start looking all over the room for these things. And also so that your maid of honor or your bridesmaid or your mom aren't then done with their hair and makeup and trying to gather all of your stuff together for him when he gets there, right? It's just these other little things that it just layers up. And I hope I take away the stress of that happening from brides, because they don't, as soon as they know I get there, they don't have to worry about anything. I'm there, everything's taken care of.
These are all things that it's not like because although this might be part of what you do is, really handling the things that come up that you couldn't have seen coming.
The behind the scenes.
But it's all of the little things that you just mentioned, because I try not to give my couples too much homework. But one of the things that I will do to just kind of hey, so I don't have to interrupt you when you're in the middle of hair and makeup and you have to get up, and I say, if you can just maybe put everything in one place and I can get started with that while you're finishing up. And that doesn't become something that is oh, well, now I have to get my maid of honor. Kind of like you said, somebody else, everybody gets to just enjoy the day, which is kind of pretty valuable.
Yeah, so something I talked about my past wedding with, I had a content creator come just do some behind the scenes stuff. And it was very much like, there are so many things that I can't include in my package breakdowns, right? Like you are the DJ. So you're going to come with a DJ, you're going to come with an MC, you're going to do music during cocktail hour, you're maybe going to have a saxophonist during cocktail hour, then, the reception, you're doing music, you're going to have, oh my gosh.
The big intro, the whole fun thing, the first dance.
Sparklers, dancing on a cloud, right? You have very specific things that brides are adding on to their packages. Whatever comes up on the day, I'm just handling, right? There's so many things. Like I could tell you, okay, we're going to do a 3-month meeting. We're going to do a 1-month meeting. Maybe this bride has included the rehearsal dinner. But I'll pass out gratuity before I leave at the end of the night. But really, it's just trusting me that I'm going to take care of everything that happens on your wedding day. I can't really put it into a package. Right. It's so hard. The only thing I can put into the package are the meetings that we have.
You know what
so many brides are like, okay, well, what if this happens? I was like, then I handle it. I just do. I can't put it in there. Okay, if X, Y, or Z happens, then I will do this. It's just, do you want me there to make sure your day goes smoothly? Or do you want to handle when, crazy uncle shows up at the venue who's not supposed to be there, right?
It's like a wedding day handyman. You do a little bit of
everything.
Whatever it takes.
Candy woman.
Well, of course, yeah.
Superwoman.
But it really is sometimes, I talk about this often, just how the scope of your job ends up being sometimes outside of what really a lot of people expect. I
think we talked about that the last one.
Yeah, really, my job is so much more than just
taking pictures. But wouldn't it be great if your whole 10 hours can truly just be streamlined to take those pictures?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can you think about what else you'd be able to do or accomplish, or if you just had to take photos for 10 hours?
Well, you know what?
That crazy? To just think about because all these other things come up and you just do it because it's part of the day. But a
lot of times there is nobody else there.
Yeah. What if you just had 10 hours to photograph behind the scenes, wedding couples, their guests? It would be very different.
You said something that when you said, handling things that kind of show up and how you can't really put that into words. Well, I can. It's peace of mind. It's what you offer. Yeah. And so you can literally put a line item and just call it peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, peace of mind. Because ultimately, and what I say is when you hire this organization, not only do you get peace of mind, we take care of the things that don't show up in the box score. Yeah. Right. And so, you can quantify, if you're a sports person, you can quantify the stat sheet. They took 10 shots. They made 7, whatever. They got up 5 times. They got 2 hits. But the things that that you can't see, the way that they, in the sport, and I bring it to sports, the way that they actually, took the extra base when they were leading, the way they ran the base, the way they did this, the way that they anticipated what the defense was going to do. And I apologize if this goes over anybody's head, but if there's a groom or a bride that likes sports.
You just made it click for somebody out there.
Bottom line is, and you're welcome. And now if somebody just said, all right, I'll watch this because he talked about sports, that's great. But what doesn't show up in the box score, and that's what you provide. Right. And that's that peace of mind that you can't put a price tag on. So I totally agree. Now, I want to go ahead and strike one of those things from the comment about working together. All right, because at the end of the day, I believe we have worked together, and seeing you at these events and the bridal shows and the things like that, we do work together. I see the way you hustle, and I could totally be an advocate for what you do. And because I've also worked with wedding planners and day of coordinators, and I'm not going to mention names, okay, Tim, and I know you have as well, where they get in the way. They're creating more problems. They're creating an issue. And this is not what happens with you and Pedana Planning. And, I want you to talk to me about some of the nightmares you've seen with DJ companies, MC people that you have to work with, and they just don't know how to play nice in the sandbox. Take me through some, without obviously giving names, but companies maybe you worked with, and things that maybe it was their lack of experience, maybe it was the way that they spoke, maybe it was just the way that they were inconsiderate. I want to hear about some of the like a story that maybe you don't have the right DJ or MC personality sort of on your party, how that can affect and cause more work for you.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't say like I've had like an issue, but there have been companies that I have worked with where I'm kind of like more so brushed off than respected on the day of. And it's kind of like, who are you to tell me like what to do? And that is not, and we talked about this in my last podcast, I am not here to tell you how to do your job, and I'm not here to tell you how to do your job. I'm here to make sure that the bride, groom, wedding couple, that they are experiencing the best day that they can have. And I feel like I have worked with a couple photographers too, and a couple DJs that it's just like they think I'm in the way.
Like a dismissive kind of.
Just very dismissive. Not really that I'm in the way, because I don't get in anybody's way. I'm not here for that, because then that would just, if I'm feeling those vibes, then the bride is feeling those vibes. So like if I ever feel those vibes, I take like 25 more steps backwards, because it's like, that is not my purpose to like, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to tell you how to photograph. But I might just be like, hey, the bride has this hanky. She just wants in one picture for her mom, right? Like she just wants one quick picture with it.
Helpful.
So I might just be like, hey, Tim, like she only wants one picture with the hanky. Like, can you not put it in all the photos? Because now she has this hanky that she's only putting in there to make her mom happy in all the photos. And now it's your fault. Like, not my fault. I'm not, like if you're going to be like, oh, but this is what she had in her box, I'm going to say, okay, I did my job. I advocated for the bride and said she only wants this in one. And if you're telling me no, then okay, you're going to deal with that after, because I can only do so much, right? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what the bride would like. And I feel like not a lot of DJs and not a lot. There are most, but there have been a handful that are like, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 25 years. I don't work with a planner every time. Like, I've worked at this venue before, blah, 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 blah. And I just feel very dismissed. And it's kind of like insulting, because now you kind of just left a taste in my mouth. And that kind of goes back to your venue thing. Like, if a bride gave you 3 venues, well, if a bride gives me 3 DJs and one of them was very dismissive towards me, I'm going to be honest. Right? Like, we are all professionals here, and I would never want a bride to work with someone, or maybe, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen a photographer dismissive to the bride, kind of like this. You didn't mention this in your, what do you send out? Like, not a questionnaire, like,
it's a little planning form.
The planning form, like, well, this wasn't in the planning form. Like, we don't have time for this. And I'm just like, we have 45 minutes till she needs to get in her dress. What do you mean we don't have time for it? Just because it wasn't on your list doesn't mean it's not something we can't do. It's going to take 5 minutes to do. Like,
I think the overall, like, it typically doesn't come up as a like, oh, this is a really big issue. But I feel like kind of what you're mentioning, where it does come up sometimes a little more common, is like this unwillingness to work collaboratively with the other people that are there on the day, because like the whole day doesn't happen just because of one person, and
it's
really
a team. You're
so
a team.
You have to, that whoever the couple hired for the day, you're all on a team together, and you got to work together in some type of way. And I think there's some vendors that just kind of maybe come with this preconceived notion that it's like, they just got to worry. I just got to worry about what I do. Like, whatever you're doing, that's separate from what's going on. But it really, at the end of the day, all that matters is
we have
the
to work
experience
together, and the experience that the bride and groom
that
are
the
getting.
couple have. For sure.
So when you say like we work together, Tim knows. Before my bride's 3-month meeting, I send them over a template to send to all of their vendors. Right? I don't make a timeline. Just like out of nowhere. The DJ gets an email from the bride, the venue gets an email from the bride, the photographer gets an email from the bride. what does the day look like for you? What do you envision the day looking like? I'm not here to tell you how long it's going to take you to do getting ready pictures. I'm not here to tell you it's pretty like equal among photographers. It's pretty like similar, but I'm not here to tell you how much time you need. So my bride will get all of that information, and at our 3-month meeting when we start working on the timeline, I'm taking Tim's times. I'm taking your times. Maybe they have a huge wedding party and they have all these ideas that they didn't share with me yet that needs like 10 minutes to get together for the intro. Like, I'm not just throwing out willy-nilly numbers in this timeline. Like, it's not just like, okay, every bride has the same timeline. I don't think I've ever had a bride who has the same timeline. Right. They might have the same ceremony time, but a whole different reception start time. They might have a different dinner time, a different cake cutting time, the Russian dancer show, right? Like, there's all these things that go into it, and I'm not just like, okay, here's your time. Here's the timeline we're following on the day of. You have to follow it. I got all the information that I needed from you and put it in the timeline. So I send that out about 2 weeks before the wedding, just like introducing myself and saying like, here's the timeline that X, Y, and Z and I have worked together on this timeline over the past 2 months, taking the info. I include that in email now. I say, here is a timeline from all the information that we received from you to put this timeline together, because I'm not here to tell you what to do. That's not my job. Well, and I don't ever want that to be my job.
You said something earlier, and it really leads into kind of insider information. And any professional MC, DJ, photographer, videographer, who doesn't like a little good inside information, Tim? When Caitlynn has something that she knows, she's at the bridal suite, she's listening to what they're playing on their Bluetooth speaker, and she says to me, "Hey, Chuck, by the way, they're jamming out to Beyonce."
I've done that.
I've had it happen.
You've done that to me. Thank you.
I've had it happen.
Like they're crushing Love on Top right now, just so you know.
You know the song, it's by Ray, Where the Hell is My Husband or something? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they were jamming to this song all morning. And this DJ group had a saxophone. And I mean, this guy is a really good saxophone player. It's probably one of the better like DJ band sax, like trio for the whole night that I've worked with.
Love that.
And I was like, hey, this has like heavy, like saxophone, something going on. And I said, I'm not a musician, but I think you should listen to the song. The girls were jamming out to it all morning.
Thank you.
I think it would be a hit. I wasn't there for it, but they ended up using it for the last song of the night. And they said it was like perfect, way out.
So work well with others, be nice, play nice in the sandbox. This is easier. Like Tim said, it's an entire community coming together on that day to combine their superpowers to go ahead and execute the plan that's inside your beautiful mind.
Yeah. And it ends up just benefiting at the end of the day. The couple has a better experience for it. Like I remember back to John Frieda. I remember working a wedding with him, and I was like, oh, like they seem like, kind of the theater type. And I was like, John, you should put on Time Warp. They literally requested it again after he played it twice in that night. It was just one of those things that, it's helpful to like have people that you enjoy working with to the point where like you really just want to do everything that you can in your power to like just make sure everybody's having a good time.
Piggybacking one more off of that too is when we see, and we know that we've talked to Caitlynn and she's letting us know, and we are obviously aware that there's a special, let's say, dedication going out to the aunt, because the aunt is like a mom, right? And we're going to do the thing. And the bride, groom, whoever comes up to either Caitlynn to kind of pass the message along to me or directly to me and says, hey, we really want to do that thing.
Yeah.
And what I do then is I survey the room and I say to Caitlynn, yes, but we can't do it this second.
Now.
And she says, she might say why. And I say, well, because Tim is finishing up some picture over here.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go ahead and check with Tim. But the beautiful thing about having Caitlynn is Caitlyn's already doing that. But when Caitlyn's not on the job, that's something that we're doing. And so I'm like, hey, Tim, by the way, there's going to be this special thing in about 3 minutes. Heads up. But a guy like Tim takes that as good information.
Yeah.
But I've
Useful
worked with
information.
photographers that said, hey, don't tell me how to do my job. And I'm like, hey, I didn't say how to
miss this.
push the button.
Yeah.
I just said be available to push the button.
Yeah. So I've had that too. So my most recent wedding, one of the bridesmaids, it was her 21st birthday.
Yeah.
So we had already planned in one of our meetings. This was a partial planning bride. So I actually hopped on a call with the DJ. So me and the DJ were I've worked with him before, but we were kind of linked up on, the Russian dancers. She was doing a dress change and wanted a specific song for her dress change. So she wanted shots for her cousin's 21st birthday. It was like, instead of saying happy birthday, so.
I love it.
Okay. I knew when it was happening. The DJ knew when it was happening. But guess what? Where is this bridesmaid? If it's only me, the DJ, and the bride who know that this is happening for, let's say her name is Lauren, who you're finding Lauren? The MC is going to go look around to find Lauren because she wasn't on the dance floor. So I was like, oh my gosh, where's Lauren? Where is she? So I had to literally go find her and get her to the dance floor. And in that, I was kind of grabbing the photographer too. I was like, they're playing this song next. They're playing this song next. Right. And this girl has no idea what is happening, right? It's the middle. It was after the Russian dancers. It was later at night. So she's like, what is happening? I was like, come on, just come. I have to show you something.
Oh, it was
and
a
got
surprise.
her to the middle of the dance floor. And then all of a sudden shots started playing and the waitresses were coming around with shots on their thing. And perfect picture moment. If I didn't tell the photographer, he didn't know that they were doing this special shots thing for her because he wasn't on the call with me and the DJ. And I don't know if that's my fault. I didn't say earlier on, oh, hey, by the way, we're doing something. The bride could have passed it along. I don't know if he knew that it was happening. But in that moment, I knew that the photographer needed to be there for this moment.
That's what you do.
Who's doing that?
That's why I don't eat. I'm a machine. I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, yeah.
If I do,
I know we were snacking on bars at Daniel Payton's wedding.
If I come prepared, if I am I literally need to be able to see the dance floor. I need to be able to be within earshot of whatever's going on. So and there's so many times where I hear an applause and I just sat down and I'm like, what's going on? Whatever it is, I will get up from what I'm doing because it's me eating is so much less important.
Do you ever have two shooters, one of you eat real quick and one of you kind of stay in the area? When you have two shooters,
a lot of times, because
I know DJs and MCs will do that.
Yeah, a lot of times by the time we're finished through formalities is when I'll just kind of take over. And so usually dinner's happening a little bit later where you don't.
So your second shooter's not there anymore.
You don't need two people.
And that helps the couple save a little.
Yeah. Well, but I was just curious because I have worked with large photography teams. This one was 7 people the last wedding.
To me, that's it's 7 people.
So they split. Yeah. There was 2 photographers, 3 videographers. It was a lot of people. It was a lot.
It's so interesting because I'm almost the opposite approach where I try not to make it a huge production. And I feel like the couples that work with me, they understand that. That's the part that resonates with them where they're I don't want this to feel like
a production.
We're on a set. Yeah. And it's
this was definitely a well-known photographer in the area, and he just has a large team. Yeah. 2 photographers, 2 videographers, 2 content creators, and then there was just someone else because there were definitely 7 people. Yeah. So I remember when she told me we'll talk about how many vendor meals because for some reason the maitre d' always comes and asks me how many vendors are there, and I'm like, I don't know. So now I'm sitting there in my head and I'm counting. Right? They should already have this information has already been submitted by the bride and groom. So I'm sitting there trying to count how many people, and I know that the photographer team alone had 7 people. I was holy smoke!
You're talking about a basketball team.
So many,
yeah.
Content creators, what are you seeing when you're at these events? And obviously there's a photographer, maybe there's a videographer and a content creator, or there's a photographer and just a content creator. How are you seeing these content creators? How are they fitting in to the overall success of the party? And I want to hear good, bad, or whatever.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Because I know as a photographer, I see and I hear from Timmy, they need to capture that magic. And the last thing we need to have happen, and there's editing.
Someone stepping on their toes, crossing that.
What are you seeing with content creators that are making you want to pull your hair out? let's start if you're seeing anything, and then I mean, what are you seeing? Are the ones that fit in right? How are they doing it?
I don't think I've had worked with a content creator that like crossed their line. If that is that a good word to put it? Like
fantastic to hear.
Cross their line. Yeah. You have a content creator, if a bride and groom want to add it on, that can come. So I feel like my past couple weddings, the content creator has been with the photography team. I think
sounds
that's
like a
the
great
route.
idea.
It is nice to know
Yes.
that there's somebody that's going to respect, like, okay, photographer kind of gets, their shots first, make sure you're not getting in the way. But yeah, there's definitely a place for everybody to play nicely together.
So
I like that, Timmy.
feel like
having
that.
your own content creator through the photographer company or videographer company.
And I've worked with other, and
sure.
they,
and so that's what I was going to say. I've worked with
fantastic
other
as well.
content creators that are not with the company, but my past two. So I just had one. My next bride doesn't have a content creator, and then the one in May is through the photographer as well. And I feel like that's kind of a better route because you know each other and you just have that like level of respect of like, okay, I'm getting the shot right now, hold it, then the content creator will get it or whatever. But I have worked with one that kind of maybe was like having the bride do things after the photographer was getting pictures and video. So it's kind of hard, right? Because if a bride's like, I want these reels made, then that content creator has to get that footage. Like if you're going into the wedding knowing that the bride has sent these 3 reels that she wants, you have to get that footage.
But it sounds like know what, but being where you're at, this information hopefully ahead of time, which is helpful. Because if the bride. I think
the photographer always does. And that's kind of where I feel like but that's why I think if the content creator is working with the photographer like physically, now you're all on the same page. So like a content creator outside of the photographer has these reels that the bride wants and is getting it, and they have a videographer too. So the videographer is also getting it more as like a behind the scenes of it. But a videographer and a content creator, and I know we've talked about this before, are very different, right? Yeah. We talked about, did you ever let your daughter watch your video? Tim, we had our podcast. We went on in like November.
Our anniversary is coming up. Yeah, our anniversary.
You have to let her watch it. Has your son watched? Did you have a videographer at your wedding?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Does your son watch it?
Yes.
My daughter loves it. He hasn't let his daughter watch it. Sorry, that was off track.
We will, no.
Okay, you have to have her watch it. Do you have a highlight too or no? Just the long one.
We just have that.
We're avoiding screen time.
Really
we're choosing our screen time.
But this is good screen time.
No, it is good. They get to see us moving around.
Yeah. So videographer, right? You're getting that highlight film, 3, 4, 5 minutes, depending on like my highlight film was like a little over 5 minutes. Some photographers do like a 3-minute one. Then you have that long film.
18
if
to 20.
people still do it. Mine was an hour because I was a church ceremony. So
we call it like a full length linear kind of in order.
Yeah. So it was like a little bit, then the church, then pretty much the highlight film at the end is like what my long, like one that we'll watch on our anniversary. But the content creator really isn't there to get what the videographer is getting.
They're more BTS, I think.
Yeah,
I think
they really are. They're BTS, but also if brides have those specific things they want.
Yeah.
So I feel like it can be to an advantage because then the videographer is getting some different content than the way content creator. So if they're hiring a videographer, a photographer, and a content creator, you truly are getting like a wide range of stuff.
That's
I usually of
phrase
content
it in this way of like I said, everybody, they all have their place, and so it's not like, even though you might be between, we know we have a good photographer and do we need a videographer and a content creator, and it really just depends on like where you put your value. But where the content creators come in as the the biggest value is those couples that are like, hey, can we get all the raw footage?
They're social people.
Yeah, like for your videographer, most of the times they're gonna be like, no, you can't get all the raw footage for a good reason. Like it's all chopped up and it's more than what you would ever even want to go through. And you have a content creator that is recording in a way that is already formatted for social media.
Yes.
there are already these clips that they're putting together that you can share right away. You're also going to get how long does it take for you to get that highlight film back, as opposed to
getting that quick reel.
Correct. Like a lot of content creators are like, here's the folder of clips. Yeah, in 24 to 48 hours. So you get all that content right away, whereas it's not as polished, but you get all those little in-between moments that the videographer can't possibly fit in one video or a couple of videos. And also it's recorded in this way that's meant for like to be more polished and tell a story, right?
Versus the content creators here, so you can like post it on social media.
Yeah. So that's where like all three of them, you know, photographer, videographer, content creators, like they all do completely separate things the way that I look at it. And they all definitely have like their place in a wedding day.
So you said a videographer won't send you all your raw footage. Well, I had an issue. I didn't get my photos back on like within the time frame. I didn't get my video back within the time frame, and I just was not happy. They were supposed to send me a book, 2021.
What month?
June.
Okay. I'm like, June, you're not like crazy backed up by then.
We're through.
If you had said like September, October, I'd have been like, all right, like maybe they were a little, you know, behind. Yeah. You're getting stacked up.
So what happened?
And she was supposed to send me like a photo book. She's not in business anymore. She got Better Business Bureau. I met her at one of these shows, and it was kind of like
crazy.
This is like my pre-wedding planning, knowing anything.
Talk about though, if you could go back.
If I could go back, yes. If I could go back, I would still have children. But for my wedding, if I
shout out to Love Is Blind.
My sister, Love Is Blind. If I could go back to wedding planning,
you would
at
have
the
you
time,
there to help you.
I would. Knowing what I know now is like when brides ask me, like, okay, what else do you, whatever. I say, if I knew what I knew now, my husband and I were young. I was 24 planning a wedding.
Still young, don't worry.
Yeah, I was 24 planning a wedding. And I was like the first of, well, all three of us were like engaged at the same time. And I went to the Meadowlands bridal show, and I met this girl, and she was cheaper than everybody else. And my husband and I were planning our own wedding. We didn't have help from anybody. So I liked what she had. She had her photo book. She had everything. And it was like...
The price was right.
Her price was so right for photo and video. What I paid. Yeah, maybe a little too good is what... It was also pre-COVID, so I know prices are crazy post-COVID. I don't know. But what I had paid like $4,000 for 10 hours of 2 photo and 2 video. Yeah. And they were amazing on the day of. Like I was thrilled. But if I can go back and tell myself now, photo and video is not somewhere where you should like try to like wiggle room with your budget.
Where can we wiggle? Where can we wiggle? Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay. But that's definitely no, really, like
things
truthfully,
like that are at the end of the day like they're gone and like nobody talks about these things.
The only ones that talk about it are the ones who are like these huge things, right? It's like, oh my God, I've never seen something like that before. Like you might talk about those after, but you're spending so much money on that.
The money you would have to spend for somebody to talk about your flowers. Oh my gosh. Did you see the flowers on that day?
Yes.
You would have to be spending
thousands,
50K plus.
Thousands.
Because like, I think anything under that would just be like, oh, this is like the normal amount of flowers.
Yeah.
I had centerpieces that were the stock centerpieces for my wedding, and people were like, wow, these are pretty. Yeah. And that was free. So guess what? Just chill.
I had I had 3 bottles of wine from where we went after we got engaged. We went to Rhode Island and we did the wine trail in Rhode Island. Nice. And from every venue, every winery that we went to, I got a case of empty bottles and I used those as centerpieces and had one sunflower in each one. And it was just, people were like, oh my God, look at like how she just added like a touch of flowers, right? Like, so I would say budgeting wise, do not with
so whatever happened
the photo and video. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Chuckie got me all.
No, it's okay.
She sent me,
I want to hear what
she sent me all the video raw footage. So it's sitting on my laptop and I don't know what to do with it. I kind of want to make a video, but I'm not good with that kind of stuff. Like I almost want to make a new highlight. So maybe I'm just going to give you a flash drive and be like, hey, Tim, you want to tell me how much? No, but literally it's just like a whole file of all these raw videos that like I don't know what to do with, but like I also can't delete it off my computer because it's like, there's just more. Like I could have a whole new wedding video from my own wedding, from somebody else's perspective.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know, let me know how much you would charge to do that, because that might be something I'm interested in. I could have a whole new, different perspective. You weren't there on the day of, so you're literally going to go through this and just like piece it together however you. And I feel like that would be actually really cool to like see my wedding video from somebody else's eyes who wasn't even there. But don't ask for your raw footage, because that it's just like, it doesn't make sense. There's like 25 folders, and when you click one folder, there's church in there, but then there's also the cocktail hour in there, and I'm like, I can't even figure out how.
You're clicking one video, you don't know what it is.
No.
And then it's just like the ground up here, we're focusing, and then it's like 10 seconds of whatever. So like, oh, this is usable. And then it's like, then it cuts off.
I could not.
Don't know where and this is why, for all these reasons that you're talking about, this is why nobody typically really like wants to hand over anything raw, because it's not the final product.
No,
so
it was terrible. It gave me anxiety.
Yeah, so you can't judge. And it's going to overwhelm you too. So you can't judge like, oh, well, this is like my wedding, day footage. Like, no, like, because it's not done. Yeah. It's just all in pieces. Like when you put the puzzle together, that is where the value is.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like that's where maybe some of those beginning photographers, videographers, or whatever, like they want to put out good value, and they tend to overshare, but also like they overpromise
and then
they underdeliver.
Yes,
because a lot of people would say yes to $4,000 for 2 photographers, 2 videographers for the day of, and then when you get all these people booked up, great. Now can you get everything out? Which is kind of what it seems like, where you ran into the issue. And
she wasn't like showing up to weddings.
This I'll never be able to understand, but I do feel like this is why couples end up making sure that they hire somebody based off of who they trust can actually deliver, not what you're necessarily promising. You could promise, oh, I'm going to give you, so-and-so is going to, Taylor Swift's going to show up at your wedding. And can you actually deliver that though?
Yeah.
And so it might sound great in the moment. And I think when you're planning and everything is just adding up so quickly, that's where you're really like, okay, there are some things that we can kind of cut back on and maybe not put as much emphasis on. Is this important? And then there's other things that you really want to make sure that whoever you're hiring can deliver.
DJ and photo. Yeah. Like, no, you guys are sitting right next to me, but like those are literally where, a DJ can make or break your wedding day. Like if you hire a DJ who, just started, maybe you're like the 5th wedding, they might not know how to read the room yet, right? Like you don't know. Photo, video, DJ are the most important. On my last time with you, I told you that I sometimes tell brides, like, if you don't have a videographer yet and you're between like me and the videographer, I take the back burner. And I shouldn't, but like I do. I know the value I can provide on a day. That peace of mind, which I really like, I'm going to use it. But a video, that you're going to have your photos, but you're not hanging every picture up in your house. You might have a photo book that you like take out and look at. Same with the video. You might not look at it all the time, but like the video, it has people's voices. It's people that you like can put it on for 2 minutes, 3 minutes and just see your family interacting. Maybe someone who's not with you anymore. Oh. And yes, you'll have one picture maybe with grandma, but like maybe you see grandma dancing on the dance floor, like just being
doing the
there,
thing
just
that grandma
doing the thing that grandma does exactly. And a video of your wedding day, I feel like is just.
I appreciate you saying that. Like, I appreciate you saying that because, I remember we did a wedding, we do them all, between, Tim and I, we personally probably do 50 weddings each a year. So we see 100 weddings through our eyes. Right. And and obviously the people we employ underneath us to kind of crush and do. But I remember doing a wedding, the hat's kind of a staple of me when I go out and, people like to grab it and put it on their head and dance, and grandma had it, and so sure enough, obviously grandma, has crossed over and the bride and groom reach out to me and it's still their favorite moment, where grandma and kind of me, and when we're dancing that's on the camera and the video. And so, we like to call it, capturing the memories in motion, and Tim's capturing those forever memories that are gonna be timeless on the wall and timeless for sure. And he is also, and his team and the videography teams, they are capturing then the movement, the motion, right? And so
there's just something about it.
It tells the story in a way that like photo by itself
can't
do. Like, and it's kind of like what you had said, where it's like you get to actually like kind of see the emotions in a way of like these people that they're not going to be around forever, or like you had a little one running around and then years later they watch it and they're
gosh, grown now, like, oh my God, what did you let me do on your wedding day, Auntie?
I remember like my uncle's wedding back when I was little, and they talked about how like we would just, like, me and my cousin just dance around or run around on the dance floor. And this was back when the worm was a big thing, especially if you were a kid. And so we're out there like doing the worm and stuff, and it's just like so funny to look back on that,
even as an adult.
Yeah, correct. And you just see that is like everybody's frozen in time, and it is really one of those things that the couples that end up passing on video, that tends to be one of the biggest regrets that they have is we wish we would have got some kind of video for the day off.
And I feel like now that's where if content creators are coming in, if they can't fully afford a videographer and they want me, then I'm like, then you need to like get a content creator or see if your videographer could do something in that aspect, because you need to.
Yeah, not a replacement, but
correct, not a replacement, but
right, because the content creation is still a trend, and it's great and it's wonderful and we love it, and we have content creators that follow us around and do the thing and the whole thing, but when you put that production together and they showed a story, and like when Tim shows it to his daughter and she's older, she's going to realize, well, that's why I'm the way I am. And
for sure.
How did I get here? Well, look at your Gigi. Do you see what she's doing? Do you see this move? What is that?
That's where you got it from.
My mom, boy, she does this move where she's still doing this. Whoever's around, she's doing the move. She might have did that to you while you were taking pictures at her wedding. It's all good. I got to go back to the video.
Comes with the territory.
Last thing I want to say about the raw stuff, and then maybe we'll touch on a couple of our little points here. Is the thing about the raw files? Think about it like this. So you screen record, right now on your phone, and you hit the button, and then you got to like still find what you got to do, and so you still see your clock and your home screen and your this and your that. Finally, you record the thing you want. And then, maybe a notification comes through and you're like, and you're scrolling that out. And then finally there's like a little bit of usable piece in that screen recording. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so with the videography, we're setting up, we know the shot we want to capture. So when we're setting the camera in focus and we're doing the looking down at the ground thing and whatever, that stuff that's going to give you a vertigo watching it. Yeah. But it's important because it helps you get the shot that we needed. And so let us just put together the film. Yeah. If you want to call it a full length linear, start to finish, and just let us at least clean the thing up.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to give you all the clips. You're going to pay for the raw delivery, but the raw delivery isn't going to be files. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like either like a long file that at least we put together. That says like, hey, not for promotional use or not for like,
don't post this anywhere.
Yeah, like, because that's another thing. Your name is tied to 100%. Something, and when you give, it's like 100%. That's how they capture today. Yeah. Like, please show the highlight first.
Yeah, I mean, it works same with like raw photos, because it's you're polishing it to make it a final product. Yeah. But if you were to judge me off of like the original photo before I color corrected and all these things, you would think I might not know what I'm doing.
No. Really, actually, your raw, but that's not completely accurate. I get what you're saying. Your raw pictures, Tim, still come out fantastic. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. There is a little bit, but make no mistake about it. You if you just got the raw photos, you'd be like, wow, this is terrific. Yeah. But yes, like, there's a final
style. It's it has like the signature and the all the seasoning, the final sauce, everything's all done. And that's really what you want to get back. Like, you don't want to get something back where you're like, this is unfinished. There's something that is
missing.
That's still missing from this piece.
I love it.
But
I wanted to touch, because we kind of talked about a couple little things, and I figured we hit up like 2 of these, and then you kind of wrap it up. We were talking about the first look debate, and I think that I feel like I want to hear more from what you sort of encourage. Obviously, listen, it's all about what they want.
It is.
So
all
you
about
got
what they want.
and it is. And by the way, I know Tim is going to tell you he can handle whatever you give him. But take me through. I'm getting married, and I'm like, so Caitlynn, I'm kind of on the fence with the first look. What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
We're getting married on location. Everything's on location. Everything's happening at the.
You're getting ready on location too?
Yeah, we're at the Hotel
Everything.
LBI. You're welcome, and we're doing our thing.
All right, so everything's happening there. I would say, truthfully, if your photographer's down for it, do what your heart desires. Like, if you really want your fiance to see you in that raw moment of walking down the aisle, everybody's getting right, like if everybody is there, everybody's staying there, your room, all your guests' rooms are there. So if a bridesmaid is missing something, like it takes 2 seconds to go to your room to get it. Skipping a first look, it could work pretty well. Now, if you are getting ready at a hotel and then you are going over to the venue, but the guys aren't coming over to the venue till later, so the photographer's only with the girls because you're not having the photographer drive back and forth from the hotel to the venue, so he can't get the guys getting ready photo things till the guys get there, but you don't want to do a first look. That's kind of where it gets more tricky when there's so many moving parts and not everybody's at one location. I try to advise my brides that a first look would be better because now you can get photos and stuff done before the ceremony. But if you have like all these moving parts and not everybody's there together and you still don't want to do a first look, you are going to miss your cocktail hour. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like if you are not doing a first look and you have one photographer and maybe a second shooter, but still you're not sending your second shooter to the hotel 25 minutes away. Typically, you might, but typically you don't. A first look can definitely be harder when you're not all together. But with that being said, I do have a lot of church brides lately. Like, I mean, I don't know how it's seen with you because like you're not really there for the church.
Right, but we hear about
are
it.
you, I mean,
Heard of a church.
I mean, I have a lot of
I've
church.
heard of a church.
Church weddings. Have you had a
Sometimes I
lot
even
lately?
preach.
I mean, I've had the most this past year and this upcoming year.
I feel like it is pretty balanced of like on location and at a church. And that is really where it makes the most sense because if you're doing a church, the venue somewhere else, there's a gap.
There's a
sometimes
gap
in
of
between.
time where you can get those photos
So you're
done.
not missing
You don't need the
cocktail
first
hour.
look, yeah.
That's where that time gets filled. It really has to be like, let's say we're at the venue, we're transitioning right from ceremony into cocktail hour. It really has to be like the priority, and you know what you're giving up for that. And I will still try to get my couples into like, even if it's just 20 minutes of cocktail hour, we'll figure out a way to like shift things around, get as much done as we can beforehand. That's all the separate stuff. And I've had couples where they're like, oh, we're okay with that. We're okay with actually not even going into cocktail hour. We kind of wanted to do our own
both,
thing.
but
And so like, but typically for the couples that are like, and this is what I find the main priority is just being able to enjoy the day. And that's where it becomes like kind of a no-brainer where I'm going to make sure all the pictures are done beforehand. And then
with the first look.
After ceremony, I just get to...
Behind the scenes, all the other like, oh, I want a picture with this group. So like if you're missing cocktail hour and you want pictures with other groups of people...
They're also missing cocktail hour.
They're also missing cocktail
This
hour.
is something that you really...
So
most people think about...
the bride and groom,
myself
missing
as a couple,
it.
What do we want? But then you're also like, you're holding up...
all of your family,
aunt,
immediate
uncle,
family,
and everybody.
The whole bridal party. If you have a bridal party of 9 and 9, you just paid for 20 people that aren't even getting to maybe go to 30 minutes of cocktail hour, unless you don't want as many bridal party pictures. Like it really truly depends on the brides, the wedding couples, like what they specifically want. But as like a past bride, like I wanted photos of my husband and I.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the best photos in 30 minutes, right? Like if you want photos, right? We got married at a golf course. Well, we got married at a church, but our reception was at a golf course. My husband wanted pictures out on the golf course. Like we had to miss cocktail hour. even though we had a gap of time because we went to a flower garden to take like the nice pictures with the bridal party and like we had that gap of time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to make my bridal party come out onto the green. Like the guys would have loved that. They would have gotten like a bag and a golf cart and gone out. But I'm not having them miss cocktail hour too. One, I paid for it. And two, it's just like you want pictures of you and your husband at that time. So like, yes, you make it like, it's not a production, but like you still make sure the bride and groom get like photos of them in different spots. It's not just like, okay, we're going to go over here and we're going to take a couple pictures and we're going to go over here and take a couple pictures. Okay, you're done. Like, it's just not how it works. Like for the bride and groom who've never been to a wedding before, whose friends haven't gotten married before, you really should factor into your timeline a good 45 minutes of just you and your fiance. Like whether you do the first look or don't, you figure, right, about 45
Roughly,
minutes.
between
Some
first
photographers
look
do an
and-
hour and a half.
Yeah. Which is
What
like,
do you think is about right, Tim, to set up?
If you do a first look.
Yeah,
If you do
yeah.
a first look, about how much time?
the way
'Cause
I
I've
usually
seen a couple
map
different
things out is like everything's in like
30-minute
me,
increments.
Everything's
I
in
just watched your
30-minute
podcast.
blocks. Megan.
What'd you say to me?
did
Everything's in
30-minute
like 30-minute
increments.
blocks to make it easier to like for everybody's brain.
Yeah.
And because there's like it might only take 20, but guess what? There's a little cushion built in, so if something's running over a little bit, all good. But essentially 30 minutes for like first look and then 30 minutes for portraits. We might only use 20 of those minutes for first look and 40 of them for portraits. But this is where like you get to balance it out. And guess what? If you want to do a little bit more, we'll creep into some of the bridal party
No,
and
we
we'll hold
won't,
off on
because
some
when
of that.
Tim says 30 minutes, I factor in 40 minutes in the timeline. I do whatever the photographer tells
Yeah.
me they need 30 minutes or they need 45 minutes or something. I add on a good 5 to 10 minutes extra because it has never.
Sure.
Like you need like
Yeah.
how you just said, oh, we'll go into bridal party. But like on my timeline, you won't because bridal party's still not starting for 10 more minutes.
You know, Tim, and we kind of like the debate. We're talking first look,
debating.
but I like hearing this part of building the timeline.
Yeah.
So take me through real quick. I want to pivot for a second of like
Yeah.
you know, how do you when someone says, okay, I'm getting married on location.
Yep.
It's a 6-hour adventure, right? Because we're gonna do the ceremony, the cocktail, the reception. You know, the whole thing. I want to do a first look. How do you and let's say getting ready is on location. How much
Okay.
time do you want to do prep?
Yeah.
You're saying 30 minutes. Take me through like what that looks like.
Yeah. So I'll make it kind of like a very, very short
ABC.
version of like, this is how I would go through it with a couple. And essentially like the cocktail hour on follows its own structure. It's a, 1 hour for cocktail hour and the rest is reception. For the rest of the day, the one thing that's locked in is ceremony time. So you can usually work off of
Backwards.
that and then I'll work my way
Let's say
backwards.
6 o'clock ceremony
Yeah.
start.
6 o'clock.
Tell me.
So 6 o'clock ceremony starts. You build in 30 minutes right before to make sure
No guests.
guests that are coming in.
Sorry.
Nobody's gonna. No, it's okay. No, you're right.
I know you know, but I
literally,
want
we
to
are
hear.
right on. I know.
I want to hear Timmy's beautiful voice.
Guests
real
that
quick.
are coming in, which is like probably the main part that some people think about, but it's also like I want to give couples like some time to relax before they come down the aisle. Also, as your professionals, we need a little bit of time to set up for ceremony, make sure everything's in place. And so that 30 minutes right before ceremony, that is really designated for like everything's cut off 30 minutes before. I save family photos for last. So this is like, now we're going 5 o'clock is family portraits. You leave that for last because you always have like those stragglers and like you give them as much time as you possibly can to get there. But like that is like really like by then everybody should be there. So we got everyone there. We can run through all those. Then you do 30 minutes before that. We'll save it
4:30.
for bridal party. So now you're at 4:30. You're starting bridal party, and you go through maybe a full group. You do some with the bridesmaids and individuals who are in each one of the girls, and then same thing on the guy's side, groom and each one of his guys. And then what I usually do is it'll be like an hour before that is first
3:30.
first look, because you're gonna start with that first look and lead right into
Those formal
couples.
So you like a
portraits.
full hour of really dedicated to the first look
First look.
adventure.
first look and their portraits.
And
then it's like, and then it's just like when we're ready to kind of move on to the next stage, then we're ready. And then
before that,
before
keep
first
going.
look is an hour before is when people need to be like in, like hair and makeup's done. We're getting into the tux, we're getting into, dresses, all that stuff.
2 o'clock.
And so that's usually the way that works. And then an hour before that
1:30
is when I would usually get there, because then it's an hour before hair and makeup's done.
Yeah.
That gives me enough time to do details, start with that. I'll transition into, some of the candid, some of the, let's get everybody on, together and do a group picture. And then we're pretty much ready to dive into all the rest of the stuff.
Clip it, pop it, clip it. That's the one.
There you go. Save that.
That's a good one.
I wish I could make it.
I don't know though.
I wish I could really make a timeline that was like, you could just go on and be like, oh, but we have to account for travel, and
we can do it.
Plugs it in, and it's one of those things I have to kind of go through, and it really every day.
I mean, it really does. The church. If you're getting married at a church, it could be a 20-minute drive. I have a bride who's like, Caitlynn, we're getting married. I didn't know this part, but she just told me they're getting married at the Basilica in Newark.
Right.
They're getting ready at the Marriott in Hamilton.
Hamilton, that's it.
Guess what's that day?
It's
June.
Oh.
What's happening in June at the Meadowlands this year?
Oh,
the
is it the World Cup?
That day, there's a game.
Are you kidding?
Saturday, June 27th. I was like,
oh, man.
Well, we're going to factor in 45 minutes for the 20-minute drive. And even on the day of, we are going to be checking the clock every 10 minutes, because if that traffic time goes up, you can't be late to a church because there's mass. Right? You cannot. It's going to be such a fun day.
Somebody needs to think of those things.
There's going to be such a fun day. Yeah.
Somebody needs to consider those things.
Yeah.
So now, in the same way that the timeline is one of those things that, and I feel like once I go over that with couples, they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel so
and
much
then
better,
I still factor in some cushion time in there.
Because I know how everything's going to go. What is the equivalent for DJ when it comes to you're like, once I go over this with them, then everything kind of starts to click, and this is what really ultimately couples need to know.
Sure. Are we talking about kind of timeline when we get to our part with producing the ceremony?
It literally could be any aspect of entertainment in general.
Sure. So we like to know what's happening ahead of schedule. So we want to coordinate with Caitlynn and get the full timeline. We want to coordinate with you and kind of understand what's that 5 hours before we're ready to do what we do. But let's back up a second. We have
something happen.
We have a 6 o'clock ceremony, right? 6 o'clock start. So we, like you, at 5:30, we want background prelude music playing, right? So we want a solid half hour of the vibes that you want for the big day, right? And that's the kind of energy that we're playing. Now, with that said, we're usually getting on location about 2 hours before the ceremony starts. So we're getting on location around 3:30 for this 6 o'clock ceremony start. And we're setting up the main room is set up with the fancy bells and whistles and whatever hoopla everybody wants to get involved with, and the whole thing. The cocktail hour situation is easy enough to kind of do. And sometimes the venues have an ability to pipe it through, and so we can just dictate how they play and what they play. And we always coordinate with that. But the ceremony is super important. It's not a big setup, but it's super important.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we're in a position for success. Want to make sure that the microphones are in good range, good reach, so that when we're using the wireless microphones, we're not getting the feedback and the things that we don't want to have, right? And so we're structuring the program like that. If you're a videographer, we're plugging in your audio, right? So we can get the perfect sound, the whole thing. We're coordinating with the timeline of when we should play the song with the officiant to make sure, is it You May Now Kiss, or is it play the song after that, or is it You May Kiss, everyone claps, and then Mr. and Mrs. or Mrs. and Mrs. or here's the happy couple, they announce the name, and then we play the song. So we're coordinating all those things ahead of time. And we're also, as an MC, we're sort of ushering people in and around the same way. While Caitlynn's out there really focused on what's happening behind the scenes with the bride, right, and focused on over there, and the same thing with you when you're taking your pictures, we are encouraging the guests to grab a seat, to put their cell phones away, We're teaching them how to silence their cell phones. Sometimes there's a tutorial for our baby boomers that are on their cell phones and they're doing the thing. I don't know. And then we say, well, if you don't know how to silence the phone, we tell them, pass it to somebody who looks like they know how to, and they do it. But you know what else we say? Go ahead and hit the volume button all the way down, because some of you have alarms set for them 6 o'clock things you gotta take. So anywho, but yes, so we're focused there. We want to make sure that our timeline is tight and ready to go as well. And then we're coordinating and kind of like, getting on the same page with the photo and video team to make sure they are where they need to be, and we don't start anything, even if everyone's ready to go. If Tim's changing a battery, if this is happening, guess what? The ceremony can start at 6:03.
Okay.
We can start at 6:03 because guess what? We need the people in position. We can make up the time.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, later on in the day.
Yeah.
I know, like, we're talking about timeline, and let's just say, dinner.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Like, when dinner's wrapping up. Like, on my timeline, I'm going to put, like, 8:30. But if you notice people are still eating, like, how do you kind of, like, read the room in that aspect? Or if you notice not a lot of people are dancing and, like, it's not because of your music choice or anything like that, like, what do you do? Like,
great.
how do you
Pivot and make
handle
it work.
that?
How do I entertain? Pivot. All right. So basically, it's a great question. So when there's a scenario where dinner is sort of kind of dragging a bit, for many different reasons. Sometimes the venue can't keep up. It is what it is. Things happen. So we survey the room, and your MC is always walking around, not creeping, but walking around just to kind of see what's happening. We noticed two tables haven't even gotten served yet. But you know what we do? But like 2 tables might have already been done.
Yeah.
So dilemma. But so the way we figure that is this: we want to protect the night. So we also know what our bride and groom have a vision for, and we might go up to you, or if you're not there, we're going to go to our bride and groom and just kind of give them a heads up, say, just so you know, there's 2 tables that still sort of are almost there. Things are moving and grooving. I talked to the kitchen. We kind of have a plan, but what do you think if we kind of sort of drag our feet for another 5 minutes max, and we kind of get the thing going again? What I'll do is with the dinner music is I'll start to elevate the energy.
Okay, that's cool.
So we're trying to get foot tapping.
Yeah.
We're trying to get energy.
Yeah.
We're trying to get fun. We're also going over and have verbals with the people who have finished eating.
Yeah.
And not on the microphone, not so everybody can hear, but a conversation with you, if you're a guest and saying, hey, you look like you guys are finished eating. Unfortunately, we still got a couple more things happen over here. I know you guys want to party, and now might be a good time to go jump in the photo booth.
Good. So kind of get people moving.
I want to entertain, or hey, they've got cornhole
that's a
over
really
here.
good idea.
Go do the cornhole, or hey, maybe this is a good time to sort of maybe leave a message on the little phone that they have, or write a nice little note, or do the thing. And the same thing with the bride and groom. Go to them, hey, now might be a good time to maybe say hello to a few people you didn't get a chance to. Now, make no mistake about it. There are certain times where we got to sacrifice those last 2 tables, and don't have a problem doing it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, because my bride and groom this past time were like, can we please start?
Yeah.
They were like,
catch up.
Caitlynn, and they called me over, and I was like, hey, what's up? They're like, we just want to start dancing, and I went, gotcha, and went right over to the DJ and was like, they're ready.
Right.
Like,
so,
what?
but with the
you also
DJ,
have to read the room still at that point. Even if the bride and groom are like, we want to party, you still have to
here's the
make
consideration
that
part.
final call.
We're going to do what they want, but what we're going to do at that point is say, okay, just so you know, 2 tables just got served. I hear you. We're going to do it. Let me go have a conversation with this table just to let them know, hey, heads up, we're going to get this thing going. They're all going to be awesome with it. And you know what else we do? Turn the speaker a little bit. Yeah. We don't have to be pushing the same level of volume in the direction of where they're sitting. Yeah. I've got a stack of speakers here, a stack of speakers here. We're good. Yeah. We don't have to be at full peak level at that moment. So we move the speaker a little bit. We get a beautiful bride out here. And as long as our bride and groom, they want to come celebrate, guess what people are going to do?
They're just going to come celebrate.
Where they at. Yeah. So but it's one of them things where you don't just do right away. You just arm around. I feel you. Yeah. I want to get going too.
A lot of times that's why I'm like, all right, I will let the DJ know. and I'll be back.
And
most of the time I'm not back because you're normally like, all right, give us like a couple, like 3-4 more minutes and then we'll start. So by the time I get back over there,
it's very easy to just talk to people.
Yeah.
And one-on-one talk. We don't need to be a loud microphone announcement, something kind of, and go, if you know you've got a father or a mother who are very conservative and they're to the point where they're like, you know, they're the noise police. I'll put my arm around daddy and let him know, hey, I love you, man. I love you. But, you know, we got, these kids got to get going. We got to get them moving. So, you know, maybe the cigar bar, it's time for you to hit it.
Yeah.
I love you, man. We got to do it.
That's really important, actually, because I feel like I've been working with like a little bit more of like a younger, not a younger crowd, but like younger brides than I am. So that's like, to me, that's like young, right? That's about when I got married, but like I'm seeing it now as a little bit older.
The amazing 20-somethings
now.
now.
And it's kind of like, maybe that's something I start even asking like my brides and grooms. What are your parents like? What are their vibes like? Because that could be something important for DJs to kind of be like, hey, if they don't bring it up in your meeting, it kind of just be like, hey, like, don't forget, like, dad is not about, you know, like this type of music.
But that's what comes, Caitlin, that's where you build, that's why we as hosts and MCs, we build a relationship with the guests. The ones that matter, they all matter.
But the ones where you kind of...
The ones paying for it, the ones your hubby.
No, but I really liked that idea though of like sending like, hey, like you going to dad and be like, hey, we are about to like play some music right now.
I got to turn it up.
It might be a great time for you to go have a cigar. Like I think that's really
thank you.
But
really
I do think
important.
That in the same way that there's a lot that couples don't consider and that really falls on, you know, to you and your expertise, like as you were explaining a lot of stuff that you're like, I'm thinking about this. I'm concerned with how to transition from here to here. And there's a lot of stuff that you are thinking about that the couple shouldn't necessarily have to consider.
Yeah.
And even like, you know, when you think about from a couple's perspective, we just need the music, right? And it's just so kind of like very linear surface, but you're talking about like, well, we have a whole setup in the reception room, and then we also have to be set up in a cocktail hour space, but then we also have to have a spot for the ceremony. We're set up in like 3 different locations, and we have to know what music to play and when, and that might change. And those are all the things that I feel like not enough couples necessarily like understand that aspect of like it's so far from just the guy
the
that
DJ.
comes and
Just play the fun music and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which and I just want to text my wife because I have to make sure she knows I can get my kid in about a half hour. We're doing good. Yes, I can pick. Let me do like my parents. Hold on. Yes,
do the voice,
I can
voice to
pick
text.
up Series. Series, I'm picking up my son. Yes, I can pick up my son. Series, how's the weather? You don't have to yell at the phone. Series. You know, they do that. They just like they yell at the phone and it's talk. It's good. Love it. But yeah, Timmy, we absolutely and Caitlin, we absolutely need to kind of, you know, do the thing that doesn't show up in the box score. Yeah. This is the thing we do. Yeah. So this is what when you say what's the cost of cheap? The cost of cheap is all of these intangibles that we don't pay attention to. So that when I say, look at it this way. All right, let's say, you know, the budget is $5,000 over to hire this team, to have you, to have me, to have this team in place. This whole amazing organization, if I put this whole package together, it's going to cost me $5,000 more than if I went with company B, whatever the case may be. Okay, I ask you to take that number, divide it by how many years you plan to be married.
And for 1,765 payments of just
$10.
$2.13
over the 50 years you'll be married.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think you touch on the main
It's
point.
the cup. It's a cup of coffee. It's a small cup of coffee,
Right.
Like a month for the rest of your life.
Yeah. The perceived value of
That's a really great way to
of things before you get married and during the planning process, they have a completely different perspective and
After.
value years later. I mean, especially when you talk about like photography, like photography goes up in value.
I also left my veil in the hotel room. Everyone was at the church. They wouldn't let my dad go into, so I had to get out of the car, go into the hotel, tell them my dad was allowed to go back to the room to get the veil. Like if I just had somebody, right? Like that little, a little bit.
It's a cup of coffee.
Bit.
Don't sacrifice your celebration for a cup of coffee.
For real. I'm gonna end it on just this one like hot take for each of us. We'll try to do a little quick run through because I feel like it's one of those everybody has an opinion on it. The sparkler exit, or I'll actually tie it into also because this is becoming a little bit more of a trend here and there. But the last dance of the night.
Oh, did I just roll my eyes?
Yeah. And so here's the thing is I'm gonna give like my take, but I want you guys to go first because I got opinions.
I'll go. So I'm not normally there for the last dance of the night. I don't know if you really are either. It kind of just depends on like their timeline
really
and what, right?
So you're talking about the private last dance.
So most of the time, I'm not there.
I am.
Yeah, obviously you are.
But we'll
so
talk.
I'm gonna say pass it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say pass it just from like being there all night. I have to ask, is this person doing a what do we a room reveal?
It's been over. The party's over. So.
Yeah.
No.
Like
But are they? Is this couple also doing a room reveal
where they could just do it right then, where nobody's in the room? That's a really good
you know what I mean. So if you're doing a room reveal,
I get what you're saying.
It's the last dance. Like do it with your family.
Just do a little private.
Do it. No, like if you're doing the room reveal, just end the night with all of your guests, all on the dance floor, like. All these people who love you and are there to support you, like just end it with everybody who's been there for you. Especially if you're already having your first dance and you're already having a room reveal and you already had your first look. Like end it with everybody who is there for you, with you, because it's so sad and I don't want to cry, but like they say you'll probably never be in the room with all those people ever in your lifetime again, which I know from experience because like people pass away. You lose touch with friends. Like I've lost touch with like a lot of my friends that I thought were my friends at that point in time. So like we're all in the middle of the dance floor and the videographer's there getting like everyone's so happy in this like moment. And now I don't have some of those friends anymore, even or even some of those family members, right? Because that is like, those are the people that were there with you at that moment in time.
Yeah, it really does.
And like really soak that moment up because you're not ever going to be in the room with those people ever again supporting you that way.
Yeah.
They're not. Like that's so sad, but they're not. You will never ever be with all those people ever in your lifetime again who are supporting you in that way, ever.
Yeah. I do 100%
so
agree.
End it on a high note with everybody who was there truthfully to support you.
Yeah.
Because like it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm sure you also have people who are not in your life anymore, like friends or people who have passed away. And like, at least you had that moment together. And like, 100%. That's a good moment you can look back on.
Yeah.
So and even, that's my take on it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. I was going to say, and even on like more of a practical sense, I think that
my makeup is running on my nose. I have makeup on my nose. It's running.
I think one of the things that couples like, they go, oh, I want to do this. And then they don't think about like, oh, okay, well, what goes into that? Does the venue allow you to do sparklers? Because you might say, yeah, I want to do it. I got all the sparklers. And they're like, insurance says absolutely no sparklers on the property. So I think like that's more of like in your, department and something that you'd probably think of like well before. But yeah, these some things
you could do a sparkler
considering.
Picture with people like during like a dance set, but like end the night with everybody. What about you?
So great.
Did I just change your mind?
No. Here's the thing. So I'm going to be, and let me just say this. Thank you for sharing that information and that and being vulnerable there because that's exciting and that's special to be able to have that. And I felt the passion that you had with regards to that. Now I'm going to do the both sides of the thing, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And I'm going to tell you how then we would help you execute because obviously it's whatever you want. But my friend here, Caitlynn, made a great point. If you really want to have this private moment, a room reveal dance is dynamite. So like seriously, I would say consider that. Okay. I'm going to tell you the answer is yes. If you want to do your private first dance, here's what you give up. And it's okay if you're willing to give it up. You must give up 15 minutes at the end of your party. So
Correct.
if your party ends at 11 and you're okay with me saying friends and family at 10:45, thank you so much for coming and celebrating this union. We appreciate you so much. Good night. God bless. We love you. And then that 10 minutes it's going to take, I've got to help escort these people out of the room. But you, if you're okay with that, that's okay. Right. Now just know you lost 15 minutes of crazy party time.
Correct.
And you could be okay with that. And if you are, having an MC that knows how to control drunk people is very important.
Not everybody does either, so that's something like you really have to talk about with your
You better
DJ
have a
and MC
team
host.
you love.
You have to have a team that can handle that.
And yes, we're confidently kind of coercing people that they need to do.
How many times you got to say it?
It's a lot, Tim. And I'll tell you what,
I've seen it like a lot of times, and they're like, please, guys, please, the couple just want to dance. Can you just leave the room? Yeah. You can come back in.
But then you also have to, if they can't come back in, you also have to make sure the shuttle's there early so everyone can start getting the shuttle. There's so much that goes into it.
From a practical sense, like there's a lot that goes into it.
There is an ability, though, to do that, but just that's the trade-off. The trade-off is that because the venue, unless you're paying overtime, the venue is cut off at 11.
Correct.
Okay? And so we need to honor that because we're at these venues every week, and so that we can't jeopardize our relationships with them. And so ultimately, it's something that you'll need to know ahead of time. And again, once you give them the information and they know what they know, the same thing with the sparklers. If they know what they need to know the facts. And what's up, honey?
Or they could just miss 5 minutes of cocktail hour to do that.
Or they could just come in and that's super special.
And that's less. That's 5 minutes, not 15.
The room is set up perfect the way you want it. Like
the tables aren't a mess. Like your photographer and videographer team are still there. Your content creator. Normally they're not all there literally till midnight.
Well, you're gonna most likely you're gonna have to pay a little extra for the photo and video if you paid for a 10-hour day and all of a sudden that's the 11th hour. Again, all things you can do, but just got to know the facts. And so I do know we know how to run it. We've taught our team how to do that and how to kind of coordinate with the staff as they're trying to clean up. Like, hey, I need you over here. I need you over here. And we can make it happen. But just lose 15 minutes from your party. And if that's something you're okay with and you can make peace with, then fine, you do it.
Yeah, I agree. There are a couple of things that go into those aspects and those like trends that people like. They see it and they're like, this looks really nice on camera, and I totally agree. But sometimes they just don't know what goes into that, and so like there is a lot of time that it takes to like round up a group of people to either leave the room so you can have your first dance, or leave the rooms and go outside so you can grab a sparkler. And a lot of times, like in the same way, in the same way that you gave an alternative to maybe you don't make it the last dance, maybe you just do it earlier on in the day. One alternative that I would say to doing, like if you want to do sparklers send off, is not make it the whole party. Like just
made that mistake.
Just grab
your bridal party. And it's a cute bridal party picture too. So like you already know that you can do less bridal party pictures before, like if they're during cocktail or in between, because you know you're gonna get some pretty cool ones with the sparkler.
And you can do it like at some point towards the end and still make it back in
right
for
toward the end of dinner.
Whatever it is. But I think that's one of
those
things.
Come on in, we'll have the dance floor packed. Once you come in, you're like coming to a packed dance house.
I think that's one of those things couples think, I have to have every single person out here, and it's like the shot will look fantastic even if you just have
10 people.
Just the people that are really close to you. But all love really like good value that you guys gave to the audience. So I really appreciate you being here. I want to make sure everybody knows where to find you guys. So just share all the places, all the socials, all that good stuff.
So planningwithpadana.com, and I am on Instagram as planningwithpadana as well.
Love it. Chuckie Hype, you can find me at Fresh New Angle. It's one word. Find us on Instagram, the TikToks, the Facebook, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
It has been an absolute pleasure. And we'll have you on again for sure.
We're doing it.
But yeah, it's been great.
We're super excited.
Good stuff, guys. All right. Take care.